everybody. Welcome to Crafts by KMW. This is Karen. I'm so happy you are here and watching this video and really appreciate your time. And I hope you will enjoy this video. So today, for the first time in about 2 months, I have a color along for you. With the holidays and being sick and the new year and other things going on in my life, I just didn't have the time. But things have finally settled down, and now I have the time to spend to make a coloring video, and I actually also have the time to actually color. I haven't really colored since before Christmas, so I'm really excited for this video. So the book I chose was Daydreams by Karlzon, and this is the page that I'm going to color these cute little fish. And I thought this would be a great page to do, not only because I think this is a page that I can color in a reasonable amount of time for a video, but also because I can do one of my challenges. So if you haven't watched it yet, I have a coloring challenges for 2023 video, and one of the challenges is to color a page in all pastel colors. So I thought this would be a perfect page for pastels. So that's why I chose it. So let me share the materials that I'm going to be using for this page if you would like to follow along. So the pencils I'm using are my Color Macron pastel colored pencils. I bought this set on Amazon during Black Friday, and I've used them once so far to do a tutorial that's on my channel on how to blend, but I only used about 10 pencils in that one. So I'm really hoping to use most, if not all, of the colors in this video on this page. And then I have a bunch of gel pens and markers. So because there are a lot of small lines and areas on this page, I thought it would be perfect for gold and silver accents. So I have gold and silver metallic markers, and then I have some gel pens, and I also pulled out some pastel gel pens in pink, purple, green, and blue. And then I have my trusty white gel pen, just in case. This is the Uniball Signo gel pen, which is the only white gel pen I use. And I also have a black Jelly Roll glaze, which if I use it, it gives a raised 3D surface, which is really cool. Then I have my Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, and these I want to use to coat the fish after they're colored and make them look shiny and glistening and sparkly like they look underwater. So I think that will be really fun. And all of these materials, just to let you know, I shared in my top 14 products of 2022 for coloring. So I love all the things that I'm using. And then for the background, and this may surprise you, I have my cloud stencil and my soft pastel sticks. So instead of doing water, which I always do, I thought I would put these fish in the sky and make clouds for the background. So I think it's going to be really cool. I think it goes really well with the book. Hannah's books and her illustrations are really whimsical and dreamlike and fun and fantasy-like. So I think that will look really cool. And I've had some requests to share how I use soft pastels with stencils, so this is the perfect opportunity to show you that. So I have my plan, and if you're thinking, oh, you are so organized, I'm not at all. I do this only for my videos because if I didn't, it would probably take about 8 hours to do the video because I often have a hard time choosing what color I want. So I sort of made a plan. So I'm going to be following this to help me color the fish. So if you're ready to get started, I am. So I'm going to open my pencils. But I am going to start with my gel pens. So I'm actually going to color in all of the small areas that I want to be metallic first. And then I'm going to start coloring with the pencils. So I'm gonna zoom in now so you can see what I'm doing. So on this one, I am going to use gold. So I'm going to do these little thin stripes on his body with gold Jelly Roll pen. So I hope all of you are having a really happy, lovely new year so far, filled with lots of good things. My new year has been a little hectic so far. There's been a lot of things going on with me and with some family members, but there are some good things too. My channel is getting more subscribers, which I'm really excited about. Last time I checked, I had 213, which I know is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but for me, it's a lot. And I'm really excited and really thankful to all of my subscribers. I really enjoy doing this, and I'm so glad that other people are enjoying it too. Now I'm going to do this little curve stripe here in gold. So on my plan, I'm using pretty much all colors on this fish. So pinks, purples, blues, yellows. So I am going to pull out a purple gel pen and do these stripes around the fins in purple. Oop, went outside the line a little bit. I'll have to fix that. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about having 200 subscribers, and I look forward to the new year, making new videos, and hopefully getting more. Okay. I think I'm gonna do these little circles. I think I'll do them in blue. make sure. Okay. Just want to make sure it's actually coloring. Okay. There we go. There's some dried up ink on the nib. And then I'm going to do the eyeball blue. Okay. Next, I'm going to move on to this one. And this one I am doing with silver accents. So I'm going to do this little circle here. And then I'm going to do this area here. I just love using metallics, gel pens, markers. They just add so much flair and, I think, prettiness to the pages. So I think that's all I'm going to do on that one. Oh, I think I'm going to do these little circles at the end here. I'm going to make this one a little bigger. Okay. All right, so this one is also silver too. So I think I'm going to start here. All right, I'm going to do the insides of these double circles. And then I'm going to do these curved accents here. I think I'm going to do these little dots as well, but I'm going to wait until I color it and then put the gel pen over that. All right, next, I'm going to get my gold out again. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this part here gold. Now this fish also is going to be multicolored, so I think I might use some other gel pen colors as well. Okay, and I think I'm going to do this circle. And then these small ones. me see. I think I will do these little teardrops, just the big ones in gold. And then I think I'm going to do these scallops in gold as well. I'm really looking forward to finish the fish, to see how the clouds look at the end, to see if I like it or if I feel like crying that I ruined the page. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. I think it'll be pretty cool looking. Okay. So the next one, I'm going to use silver again. So let's give him or her a silver eye. And I'm going to do this in silver. And then I'm going to do this part on the fin. And then I will do this one row of humps. I'm sorry the camera's jiggling a little bit. I have it really close to get close up for you, and so my pen keeps hitting it. I apologize. I will do my very best to stop that from happening. And then I'm going to, this fish is going to be mostly purples and greens. So I'm going to do some green gel pen as well. So I'm going to color this stripe green. And then these back here. And then I'm going to take my purple. I'm using a different purple than I used on one of the previous ones. And I'm going to color these two stripes that border the fins. Okay, on to the next one. So this is also going to be silvers. So I'm going to do this stripe here. That one, and then these little circles on the fin. Okay. And then we have our last two. So this one is going to be gold. So I'm going to do these little accents on the fin. And then I think I'll do these here. And I think I'll do this one. And then for this last one, I think I will use blue, but I'm going to use a different blue than I already used. So I'm going to do the outlines of the fins. So I guess I can mention that I am going to be starting a Facebook group very soon. I wanted to make sure I had enough subscribers or a good amount of subscribers before I did. And now that I have over 200, I think it's a great time to start the Facebook group. So that will be coming soon. And I will let everybody know when that is up and running. I think it's going to take me a little bit of time. You have to make group rules and kind of think about what you want your group to be. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'm excited to have all of you join and hopefully get to know you better. And then I'm going to make sure this is pink. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to do these scallops here, this, and these small scallops in pink. So if you have any suggestions for the Facebook group, if there's anything you would like to be able to do on it or see on it, I would love, love, love any suggestions. Actually, I think I'm going to do these smaller ones on the fins in gold. I changed my mind there. So I'm thinking right now that I will, of course, post new videos, my colored pages, new products that I have in my Etsy shop. I've started doing some digital items like envelopes and papers and things to be used for scrapbooking and journaling. So I would love to feature those. And then, of course, allowing everybody to post their works in progress and completed pages so we can all ooh and ah over your lovely work. And a place where you can ask for suggestions and help and ideas. I'm just hoping it will be a great little community. All right, so now I have my gel pen done. So now I'm going to start using the pencils. So I'm gonna start on the bottom. So that way I don't smear the gel pen. Most of it should be pretty dry, but I just want to make sure. So I will share the colors that I'm using of the color set, but I will also share what color it is generally, so you'd be able to find a similar color from your own set. So I'm going to be coloring the mouth or the snout area in pink. And I'm going to use rose pink. So this is the color. I would say it's sort of similar to a hot pink. So I'm just going to do an all over layer with the hot pink. These pencils glide pretty well over this paper. Hannah Karlzon's paper is really nice, thick paper. It has some tooth to it. It pretty much takes any colored pencil really well. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little bit of a darker pink. I'm adding a shallow pink. Actually, I'm sorry, this is a lighter pink. And I'm just gonna go over the center. It's barely perceptible, but just wanted to use two colors there. And now I'm going to take my blender pencil and just blend that in. Now when I'm done, I will go over everything that I want to give little touches of white gel pen. So I'll probably put a little accent of gel pen right there to help the mouth look more 3D. So the stripes are going to be alternatively yellow and blue. Just trying to pull the top tray out of here. The one thing I don't like about these pencils is that the two trays are really hard to get out of the tin. So it does take some effort. So I'm going to use cream, which I would say is a regular yellow or a buttery soft yellow. And sky blue, which is a true sky blue. I think most other sets have a similar blue. So I think I'm going to start on the yellow on the second stripe. So I'm putting an all over layer of color, and then I'm going to go darker towards the top and the bottom. This will help to give an appearance of 3D-ness. So it's darker on the edges, on the top and the bottom, and lighter in the center. I will say these pencils are a little flaky. I like them, but I wouldn't say they're as good as my Prismacolors. I would say Prismas are much better. But I do like these, and I will use them. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same with the blue. Now it's funny, the blue lays down so much nicer than the yellow did. I don't know if you find that when you use certain colors. I'd love to know in the comments. I think different pigments make the actual wax lie down a little bit differently. I find that really interesting. Yeah, this is going down much nicer than the yellow did. I felt like I was really having to force the yellow. And I felt like it was harder to add more yellow and make it darker, but this blue is going down great. Sorry, I noticed that was a little bit off the off the frame, so out of frame. I feel like I never have enough space to do what I need to do. Okay. So next, the fins are purple. Sorry if it takes me a little longer to get my colors. I am using them right from the tin, and some of them I have facing up with the color name, others I don't. So it might take me a few more seconds to find certain colors than others, and I apologize for that. All right, the color I have chosen is Wisteria. I would say this is probably a lilac. And this is laying down really nicely too. I don't particularly like coloring around dots, but I'm making it work. And I don't have to be perfect because those will be covered up. So now I'm going to go back and do a second layer to darken it up a bit. This is a pretty light color, so I actually like it that way. So I'm just going to use my blender a little bit to even out the color a little bit, because I had to go around those circles. Okay. I'm still deciding what color I want the circles to be. I'm not really sure. Okay. Okay, and again, I'm just going to blend that section out a little bit. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. So I am going to actually take a blue now. It's actually sort of a purpley blue. It's called ultramarine in this set. I don't know if I can describe it. So this is the color. This is the ultramarine. So I'm not exactly sure what color I would equate it to. And I'm going to just add some along the scallops and the top edge and the edges of the fin, just to give them a little pizzazz, so it's not just all monotone. In these smaller areas, I'll do it a little less, but on this one I can go right around. But you see, it just adds a little bit of depth. It's not much, and it doesn't look blue. Just gives a little bit of depth and interest. All right, now for, now for the insides of, I think I'm gonna bring a pink in and do those areas pink. I want it to be different than, okay, I think I'm gonna use this color, which is called Macaron. I would say it's a peachy pink. So this is what it looks like on the swatch. And I'm going to color the insides of the scales. And I'm going over the dots because I can color over those. I'm not worried about it. It's more trouble It's more trouble to try to go around them. So, and then I'm going to color inside these little ones here. And then I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to color this one the same color. Okay, now I'm just going to go over everything again. Now this color is not laying down as nice as the blues did and the purple. I wonder if it's the lighter pigments. Very interesting to me. So now I think I'm going to do the polka dots on the fins with yellow, and I'm going to use Naples yellow. And I would say this is a pretty true yellow, not too bright. It's just a nice yellow. And now I'm just going to go back and go over them again. As a second layer. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a blue. I'm going to use peacock blue, and I would say this is a pretty true peacock blue in other sets. It's a pretty popular color. And do that little triangle and the eye. And I am going to use ultramarine again, which is the accent color I used on this area of the fins. And I'm going to do these circles in here with the ultramarine. And because it's sort of mixing with the pink a little bit, or the pink is mixing with the blue, it's giving it a little bit of an interesting color. All right, so that fish number 1 is done. So I'm assuming all of the gel pen is dry. So I'm going to come back up here and work on this one. So I went outside the line a little bit here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white gel pen on there and hope that works. If it doesn't work, I'll just make that. All right, that is not really working. So I'm gonna take that purple and just extend this fin out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this one is again going to be kind of rainbowish. So the face is going to be yellow. So I'm going to use the cream this time. And I would say it's probably a true cream or a really light yellow. And I really tried to put color combinations here that I wouldn't normally put together. Like on that previous fish, I don't know if I would have done the yellow and the blue that way, but I wanted to do, again, something different and a little bit whimsical and fantasy-like. So I'm just going to take my blender and blend this in a little bit. And I'm going to take the Naples yellow, which is a little bit darker, and just add a little bit of depth to this. Just going around the edges. Okay. Okay, so the stripes, so the first two are going to be 2 shades of pink, then 2 shades of blue, and then 2 shades of purple. So a lighter pink, a darker pink, lighter blue, lighter purple, darker purple. So let me get my pinks first. So I'm using Sakura, which is a really nice regular pink, I would say, for the first stripe. And again, I'm going to go a little darker on the top and the bottom. To give some 3D-ness. And then I'm going to use fuchsia, which I would equate with a magenta. It's kind of a purpley pink. And then again, I'm going lighter at the top and the bottom. Next are the blues. Oh, great, I just dropped one on the floor. Ugh. Dropping pencils on the floor is a big no-no because you break the cores, so hopefully this one will be okay. So I'm using aqua, which I would say is a true aqua blue, a true light blue. And then I'm going to use smoky blue for the next one. And I'm not really sure what to equate this with. Here it is. It's kind of a purpley blue, grayish blue. I'm not really sure how to describe it other than that. It's definitely a different hue from the aqua that I just used. And now for the purples, I am going to use Wisteria. Okay, I just realized I made a mistake. This stripe should have been the first pink, but I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to color this back one Wisteria. And then I know what I'm going to do for that first stripe. See, we always make mistakes, but then you just figure out a way to fix it. Things don't always go according to plan in coloring or in life, but you make lemonade and you move on. Okay, so because I made that mess up, I am going to use Shell Pink, which is a very, very light pink, to color in this one. Okay. Not exactly what I wanted, but it works. So, all right, sort of saves it. That one's kind of hard to lay down too. All right. So next, the fin stripes are going to be blues. So I think I'm going to use the hold on. Oh, hold on a second. I'm trying to find my colors. I apologize. All right, so I think I'm going to use turquoise blue. And it's a light blue. I might equate it to sky blue light maybe in Prismacolor. So I'm going to alternate. Sorry, I just hit the camera. Okay, and I'm just going to go over them again. And then I think I'm going to add this color on this area right here. And I'm just going to color right over it. I've already used gel pen, which will resist the wax, so I don't have to worry about that. You'll see it might feel a little bumpy. Okay. And then I'm going to use azure blue as the alternating stripe color. It's actually really similar, which is good. I don't want there to be a huge variation. I want it to look more subtle. So that's perfect. Yeah, like that. Okay. So I want to get a little orange in here. So I have a color called apricot, and I would say this is a light orange. So I'm going to color this area here with the apricot. This lays down very well. And I have a darker one. I have a pumpkin orange. So I'm gonna do that around the edges. Again, to add a little depth. And then I am going to do this one in pumpkin orange, or excuse me, apricot. Okay. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to do the circles in the stripes. So I'm going to try to choose contrasting colors. So on this purple, I'm going to use the pumpkin orange. Again, I am so sorry for hitting the camera, hitting my phone. Sorry about that. Okay. Now I'm going to get a pink. This is rose pink. And I would say it's like a regular pink or even a hot pink. And I'm going to do these circles in that color. I'm going to get my ultramarine, and I'm going to do these on this first stripe with that shell pink. I'm going to bring in some of that yellow that I used on the face. So I'm going to do cream, and I'm going to do the blue stripe. I was a little worried that they would turn green. I think it's okay. All right. And now I'm going to get my lilac and do these here. And then I'm just gonna pull a blue. So this is periwinkle blue. I would say it's a good periwinkle. And I'm gonna do these dots in this one. Okay, let me make sure I've done all the dots. Yep. All right, I'm gonna pull this periwinkle into this little arrow. Over there. Okay, now I have to do the scallops and inside the scallops. All right, So let me do the insides first, then I will worry about the outside trim. So I'm grabbing my cream again, and I'm going to do these over here. And I'm also going to do these on this stripe here. Okay. So now I'm going to pull a pink color called Sakura. And I would say it's a pink, a light pink, but it's a true pink. I'm going to color in this little section here. And then I'm going to do this one. Okay, I think that's it for that one. All right, next I'm going to do sky blue. Color these back here. And these on here. And then I'm gonna pull out my smoky blue again. And do the rest. Okay, have I got all of them? Yep. All right, so now for the outsides. I really feel like those should be gel pen and be a little shinier. So all right, so I think these can be blue. I think this is easier too than trying to color these really thin, tiny areas with pencil. And then I'll also use the blue one here. I really like how this fish is turning out. It is really rainbowy. I would be so excited if I saw this fish in the wild. All right, so I'm gonna do this one pink. All right. And then I'll do this one purple. I'll do this one, gold, sort of represent yellow. And then I'm going to do this dot inside here, pink. I think I'll grab my purple again and do these purple. And then let's give him or her a pretty purple eye. So I'm going to use the wisteria again, which is like a lilac. And I'm going to add a blue. I'm going to do this circle around the eye, blue. It's a really light blue. Okay. All right, love that. So we have 2 fish done, this one and that one. All right, so let's go on to this one. Okay, so this one is going to be mainly pink and green. So finally pulling green in for the first time. So the main body, the scales are going to be pink. So I am going to do 2 shades of pink so I can get a rounded 3D look. So the darker shade will go along the outside edges, and then the lighter shade will go inside. So I am going to use Sakura, which is a light pink, and then I'm going to use rose pink. So I'm going to take the Sakura and do an all over layer of color with that first. So I have had this book forever, but this is the first page I've colored in it. And I don't know why. I love it. I don't know. I put my attention toward other books. But I'm glad that I'm starting on this book now. And I plan on doing some other color alongs in this book. As you might have seen, I have some paper bookmarks in to mark the pages that I think would be good for color alongs. All right, now I'm going to go over with my rose pink on the outer edges to make it darker. Oops, sorry about that. And now I'm going to use my blender pencil to blend out the two colors. I'm really amazed I haven't had to sharpen anything yet, although I haven't used any one pencil to color a really big area, but definitely have used a lot of pencils. They're holding up pretty well. And now I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more back in. Blender pencil sometimes, or I would say often, takes off some of your color as it blends it. It picks it up. So sometimes I'll add another layer. So the face is going to be a peach. I actually have peach. It's a true peach, I would say. Oh, this one lays down lovely. All right. And I'm just gonna do a little more pressure around the edges. Okay. And then the tail here is also going to be peach. So I'm going to use peach and cherry blossom. So I would say cherry blossom is also a peach. It's just a little bit darker. So I'm going to do alternating stripes. I'm not really a peach girl, but other than for skin, but I'm really trying to stretch out and one, use all the colors in this set, and two, use colors that I'm not really, are not really my colors of choice. So branching out a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I like that. So now, all right, let me put these. Let me put these back. I've been putting some back and then not others. And I think I'm going to start having a mess here if I keep doing that. So, all right. So now we're going to get into the greens. So I want this inner stripe to be lighter than the fins. So I am going to use yellow green, which I think is a true yellow green. It definitely is. And lettuce green, which I would say is pretty close to a chartreuse, possibly. So I'm going to all over color the stripe with the yellow green. And then I'm going to color over alternate stripes with the lettuce green. And then I'm just going to go along the top edge a little bit and the bottom edge a little bit to help it feel more roundish. Okay. And now we're going to use some darker greens for the fins. So I think I'm going to use mint green and celadon. So here is mint green. I'm not sure if I really think it's a mint green. I don't know. It's sort of a leafy green to me. And then here is celadon, which I think is just a darker shade of that. It might have a little more blue in it. So on these, because it's larger, I'm going to color each individual stripe. So I'm starting with the mint. Okay, and now I'm going to do the celadon. And as you can see, they're very close in shade, which is fine. Sometimes I like there to be a real contrast. And then other times I like the contrast to be more subtle. I really like how this subtleness looks. And I am going to take right, I'm going to take jade green. Sorry, I was trying to choose. And I'm going to do the jade green along the top and the bottom. Again, to give a little contrast and a little 3D-ness, little highlight. I'm pressing down fairly hard to get the color to lay down. Okay, great. And I think I'm going to give this beautiful girl a little jade green eye. So now I'm going to get my leaf and my yellow green again, my lighter greens. And I'm going to do this area here. So I'm doing an all over color with the yellow green. And then I'm going to go back over alternating stripes with the leaf green. Okay. All right, now I have this little scallop to do, this little area here, that little stripe there. I think I'm going to do that with again with the mint and the celadon. So I'm just going to color this little stripe with the mint, and then it's really hard to do. It's a very small area. Okay. And then I think I'm going to do this little scallop I'm really torn between doing it pink and green. So I think I'm going to do it in the mint green. I have it here, so I'm just going to go ahead and color it. Even when I have a plan, I still have questions on colors sometimes. Okay, I like that. And then now I'm just going to do my rose pink on this one. And I'm doing it a little darker on the top and the bottom, so it's a little lighter on the inside, again, to give that look of 3D-ness. All right, so that one is done. Well, on to the next. So this little guy is going to be all blues with some ivory in there. So some parts are going to be ivory and then everything else is blue. So again, my ivory, this is a true ivory off-white. So I'm going to color the face, the main body, and then the main part of the tail in the ivory. And then there is a color called cork that I'm going to use on the edges for the highlights, I guess lowlights or shading, to give it a 3D look. The cork is kind of a sort of a sand color. I'll show you the swatch when I'm going to use it. So again, this ivory is really a color I don't use to color things other than skin. Sometimes I'll use it on hair, like if I'm doing a blonde hair color, but I really don't use it to color objects. So again, I'm trying to branch out a little bit. All right, so I'm just gonna go over everything, make sure I'm getting good coverage and saturation. This color is laying down pretty well, so I like it. All right. So this is the cork, and like I said, it's pretty much a sand color. So here it is on the swatch. So I think it's pretty sandy or like a light beige. I didn't want anything that's too yellow. So a lot of the other darker colors that are in here that would be on this spectrum are too yellow. So I didn't want that. I don't want yellow. I don't want to add more yellow. So again, I'm just going along the top and the bottom to add some dimension, shade, and 3D-ness. Thing I am noticing that these light colors are picking up some of the black of the ink from the printing, which I'm not really happy with, but there's nothing I can do about it. I think once I get all finished and I cover all the fish with the glitter pen, I think that will help to eliminate that. All right, so he or she is done with that. So next I am going to use my blues. So for these, I'm going to do these and this area here a little bit lighter. And then I want these fins to be a little bit darker. So I am going to use turquoise blue, which I think is a really lovely color. Again, I think it's very much like a light blue. And then I'm going to use porcelain blue. And I don't know. I don't know if I can really equate this to any color. So there's the porcelain blue. And it's a little bit darker, so I'm going to use this really lightly. I'm not going to press down really hard when I color with it. So I'm going to give an all-over color with the turquoise, which is a very light color. And then on these, I'm just going to color alternate stripes. And instead of coloring the stripes, I'm going to do the top and the bottom. And then here I'm going to color the alternating stripes. And then I'm going to put the turquoise in here. And I was going to dot this, but I think instead I'm going to go over it with the blue, just a little touch. Okay. Oh, and I'm gonna color in here with the light blue as well. The turquoise blue. All right, so and then I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna take the porcelain blue and I'm just gonna skim over these little dots here. Rather than dotting them, I'm just gonna color over them. Okay. So I'm gonna keep those out in case I need them again. So now I'm going to use the aqua, which I think is one of the prettiest blues in this set. And then the darkest blue, which is the peacock. So I'm going to color alternating stripes. So I'm going to start with the aqua. Oh, it is so nice to be coloring today. I had a pretty long, hard work week, so it's really, really nice to just get to relax and color, do something I really love to do. It's been a lot of planning. I teach college, so it's been a lot of planning for my class, which starts next week. So it's nice to just relax, not think about my class or my job or anything else, and just color and bring someone's beautiful illustrations to life. It's one of the things I really, really like about coloring. You get to take someone's drawing, someone's vision of what something should look like and bring it to life with color. I just love that opportunity. Okay, and now I'm going to do the other stripes, the opposite stripes with the peacock blue. These blues are laying down so gorgeously. Like, I don't even need to add a second layer. They are just so buttery soft and nice. The pigment really does seem to matter with some pencils. I don't notice it as much with my Prismacolors. I feel like they all lay down pretty nicely. There are a few that I feel you have to work a bit, but generally I feel like they all lay down the same, but these are not. I wonder if it has to do with the amount of pigment. I think these might be less pigmented than the Prismas, or if it's just the type of pigment, you know, blue pigment versus pink pigment or yellow pigment. I really don't know, but it just always baffles me. And then I'm going to take this, the peacock blue, and go along the top and the bottom of the fins again to give it more dimension and a sense of 3D-ness. So I think this year is going to be really exciting for coloring, not only because I'm working to complete my challenges, but also because there are a lot of great books coming out and I'm really excited for those. And I'm just going to do a little light layer on these two right here. All right. And now I'm going to take this peacock blue and I'm going to do the circles, these set of circles and these set of circles, and then I'm going to do the aqua in the center set just to give it a little variation. I don't know if it's going to show up that much, but Alan Robert, who does the Beauty of Horror series, he's got 2 books coming out. And then I know that there's another Mandalas book by Melpomene C. I can't pronounce her name properly and I don't want to butcher it. So I think she has another one coming out. Kirby Roseanne's has another one coming out, Alien World. I'm not big on aliens, but I love Kirby Roseanne's books, so I think I might be getting that one. I want to see a flip through of it first, though. And I'm going to do the eye aqua. Okay. On that. All right, so now we just have these little scallops. I'm just going to go over this with blue a little bit here. Okay. I'm sort of thinking they might be great in silver. I'm just not sure that they're going to show up really well if I do another blue. They're pretty small, so I'm going to go ahead and do these in silver. So yeah, I'm really excited for some new books. I have a couple books in my cart. A couple I've seen on videos or, you know, coloring book reviews. And I don't need any more coloring books at all. Like, more coloring books is the last thing I need, but I'm definitely definitely going to buy more because I just can't help myself. Okay, so he is done. I think he looks great. I'm really happy with that one. And just looking at these three, I think they're looking really good together. I think they look really nice, very pastel. So I'm excited about that. All right, so this next one, this one is pretty much all colors as well. And I want to pull in more of the more of the oranges. Sorry, I was putting pencils away. All right, so for the main fish body, this part and this part I'm going to do in cherry blossom. And then this part of the face, I'm going to do peach. So let me do that first. And now I'm just going to go a little darker around the edges. To give some contrast. And I forgot, I can't believe I forgot this, but I forgot to bring over my white pencil. So at some point I will go and grab my white pencil and I will add some white highlights with my white Prismacolor pencil, which is the best white pencil that I know of and that I've ever used. And add some highlights and some whiter areas to these fish. All right, so now I'm using the cherry blossom to color in the larger sections of the fish. Again, this is a color that I wouldn't necessarily use. This seems like a peach beige to me, or a darker peach. And again, I normally don't use it to color with other than skin or hair. So it's a little stretch for me. And just coloring in all pastels is a stretch for me too. I like vivid, bright colors. I love red. It's one of my favorite colors. I like the darker pinks. I'm a jewel tone person, so to color in all these light colors is taking me out of my comfort zone somewhat, but I will say that I'm really liking the results. I like each fish that I've done so far, and I'm really glad that I planned ahead, because I think I'd probably still be on the first one if I hadn't. Which blue do I use on this? Which blue do I use here? Do I use pink or green here? So I'm really glad I planned it out. So now I'm going to take some pumpkin orange and go around the edges of these sections to make them stand out a little bit. Oop, I went over a little bit there. Actually, I feel like I've done really well. I haven't had to erase too much at all. Sometimes I just get impatient with doing all these small little areas and intricate designs, and I get a little sloppy. So I've really done pretty well with this one, I think. All right, so now for the fins, I am going to use macaron and coral. So coral, I would say, is a true coral, and macaron is a just like a shell pink or a light pink, just a regular pink, I would say. So I'm going to start with the macaron, which is the lighter of the two, and color in my alternate stripes. This color is laying down nicely, so I won't really have to go back over it too much. And as you can see, I'm not really using my blending pencil all that much. I really don't need to. These are pretty small areas, and as long as I feel like I've covered the area pretty well with color and there's not a lot of white showing, I don't really feel like I need to use my blending pencil. I'm really able to get the saturation and the look that I want without blending too much. And I'm going to do the same colors on this little back strip here of the fin. And then I'm going to add my coral. Oh, I like how these two colors look together. It's really hard to tell sometimes, even if you have swatches, and the swatches of these two colors are right next to one another, or one's above the other one. But it's still really hard to see how two colors are going to look next to one another on your object that you're coloring, unless you actually color it. I really, really like these two together. And now I'm going to take, I apologize for that, my rose pink, and go along the edges. And you're probably wondering why sometimes I use one of the same colors that I've already colored with, and other times I use a different color. There's really no rhyme or reason. It just, I don't know, I guess it's whatever I fancy at the time. I don't really have a method to my madness on that anyway. I'm just gonna color in with the coral, this back little stripe. Okay. All right, so I think this should be coral. Yeah, I like that. And I think I'm gonna go over, I can't really color those dots in colored pencils, so I'm gonna do them gold with my gel pen. All right. So now to color in the centers of the little scallops. So I feel like they should be a little darker. So I am going to grab the magenta. And this is a pretty true magenta color, I think. And I'm gonna do two of these little teardrops here at the end, the back, on the tail. And then I'm gonna do this row here of scallops. Oops, that kind of colored funny. Okay. All right, now I'm going to use the pumpkin orange for the scallops, the scallop edges. Okay. So I think I want to do a pink inside these. So I'm going to use shallow pink, which is, again, it's a very light pink. So this is what it looks like here. It's a very light pink. It's actually not that far away from the rose pink, but it's just, I would say it's probably close to pink. And I'm just coloring over the little circles inside because I think I'm going to do those gold. And then I am going to add cream to these two little teardrops there. And I'm going to do this stripe here in cream. And I'm just going over it with the cream. I'm not going to do individual stripes at all. It's just too small. It's just too small. Again, sorry for shaking the camera. Now I'm going to do these little circles in gold. All right, I'm going to use the macaron to color in this circle here. And then I'm going to do the center with the magenta. It's not going to show up a lot, but it's a little bit of a contrast. I'm going to color these outer two teardrops in magenta. And then the lighter two, the other two with the shallow pink. And I think I'm going to do these two over here with shallow pink as well. Okay. And then I'm going to do the middle of this one in the apricot. And then this little guy over there, apricot. And then I'm going to do these circles in the sakura. And these are all just really light shades of pink. So you could do whatever shades of pink you want to use. Okay. So I want to do these circles here in a very light color. So I'm going to do flesh, and I would say flesh is, so here it is. It's sort of a yellowy beige. It'll just give a little bit of contrast to the pink and coral on the fins. Okay. Ooh, I'm really liking how this fish is turning out. It's not what I envisioned, but I like how I like how it's happening. So I'm going to get out my shell pink, which is a super, super light pink. And I'm going to do this circle, the little triangle, and this circle here. And then I'm going to use rose pink to do the outline of those. And then for the little circles inside, I'm just going to do those gold. I actually forgot this little guy over here, so I'm going to do this one. Coral. And I believe it was macaron. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it'll be close enough. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do these macaron. And instead of doing the little dots, I'm just going to put a little stripe of magenta inside. Okay, I'm going to do the sakura inside that one. And then pumpkin orange, which is the darker of the oranges that are in this set. I'm going to do the pumpkin orange around the outside. It's not really a dark orange. It's, I would say, a light orange. And then I think I'll do the dot inside of their gold again. Okay. Let's give our little fish a gold eye. All right, so I feel like these should be light. So I'm going to use the shell pink again. All right. I'm going to do inside apricot. And then I'm going to use, make sure I don't have any other pinks that haven't been used. Nope. And then I think I'll use the magenta on these little ones. I see them as being nice darker. Okay. All right. I think this one is a girl. I think she's done. And again, I really like how the four of them are looking together as a set. All right, so 3 more fish to go. So this one is going to be purples and greens. So I'm going to take just a minute to put my pinks together. So I will be, and put my pinks and oranges back in my tin. So I will be right back. All right, I am back, and I pulled out my purples and greens for this next fish. So for the purples, I have wisteria and lilac, and I also chose smoky blue, which is a lilac-y purplish gray color. And then for the greens, I chose olive yellow, which is this one, and then jade green, which I think is a true jade, the turquoise green, and then the lettuce green, which I used earlier, which is like a light green. So the face is going to be purple, so I am going to do that, the lilac color, which is the lighter of the 2 true purples. I was kind of surprised. This set only has really 2 purples. The magenta is sort of purplish. The smoky blue is sort of purplish. But really, there's only 2 purples. All right, and now I'm gonna go darker around the edges as I have been. All right, and I'm gonna use my blender pencil on this. I'm just scribbling on a scrap sheet of paper to get any other colors off of it, because that will go onto your page. Okay. And now I'm just going to add a little bit back. All right. So then the main area of the fish here is also going to be purple. So I'm going to use 3 colors. So I'm going to do the base, the lilac. I'm going to do the edges, the darker purple, which is the wisteria. And then I'm going to come inside the wisteria with the smoky blue to give it a little more dimension. Up to now, I've just used 2 colors, but now I'm going to use 3. So I'm doing an all over color with the lilac. I'm coloring pretty lightly. I'm not doing it really dark. Now I'm going to use the wisteria on the edges. And I press harder towards like the bottom of the edge and then lighter as I go in, or up, I should say. And now I'm coming in with the smoky blue and adding that. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm just gonna go over the lilac in the center. And then I'm gonna go over all the other color, the other two colors as well. Great. Okay. I think I'm actually going to add a little smoky blue to the face too. Just a little bit. All right. So the fins and most of in here is going to be green. So I think on the back one, I'm going to use the olive yellow, which is a light olive color. So here is the olive yellow. So it does have yellow in it, but I would say it's a lighter olive. So if you have like an olive and you want to use this color, you could just color very lightly with it. So I'm coloring in these larger scales here, and then I'm going to put this on the tail, doing alternating stripes. This page is actually taking me longer than I thought it would. I'm kind of surprised. And now I'm going to do the leaf green, which is a light spring green. Chartreuse, any of those colors would work on the rest of this. And then I'm going to add in, I'm going to do jade along the end here and the tip to give it a little bit, again, contrast and 3D-ness. Okay. So these two here, oh, Finn has made an appearance. He's been sleeping all day, luckily. So, so he just woke up, I imagine. All right, so here on these fins, I'm going to use the turquoise green and the lettuce, excuse me. So in alternating stripes. This turquoise green, I think, is a really cool color. It's sort of a blue. It's sort of bluey. It's just an interesting color, I think. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the jade and go along the top and the bottom of the fin, just lightly, just to give it a little contrast and a little sense of 3D-ness. This is a super easy way to get your objects looking more real, more lifelike, more 3D, like not flat, just doing a little darker color around the edges. And it can be a color you've been using, or it can be a totally different color, and it works really well. All right, and I'm gonna give this fish a jade eye. Well, I have it in my hand. All right. So I'm gonna do these little scales, these little areas here with jade. I'm just gonna come in and finish those off with the lilac. I didn't get that good enough. Okay. So I think I'm also gonna use the jade green in these 3 next larger ones. And then I'm going to use the lettuce green on these lighter ones, on the smaller ones, excuse me, to make them lighter. Okay. And then there's some dots. And I'm just going to do them with silver gel pen. I'm also going to dot these little dots with gel pen as well, with silver. All right, I'm going to do this little dot back here, silver, and then inside of that lettuce green. And now we have this little flower. So I think the little flower would look nice in a very light pink. So I'm going to use shell pink. Right now my cat is somewhere where I don't want him to be because he knows I'm busy, and he knew it was a perfect opportunity for him to get into trouble. So I'm trying not to pay any attention to him, which is really difficult. So I'm gonna take the Naples yellow and do the center. And then I'm going to take the wisteria, which is the darkest purple, and do that center, that circle around the center. Okay. Well, that fish went fast. Yay. All right. So the next little fishy is going to be, again, sort of a mishmash, a little bit of a rainbow fish. So his face is going to be green, and I'm going to use pear green. And I would say this is a pretty close pear green. It really is a pear color. I'm just going to give that a little run over with the blender pencil. I'm going to take my jade green and go around the edges for a little contrast. Not a lot. I'm not pressing a lot. I'm not pressing hard, just a little bit. And then I'm going to use the same color for the main area of the tail. And I'm just going to use a little jade around the edges. And I did already cover these with, I did already do the dots with gel pen, but I'm just going to do those again with silver gel because I didn't do that one there. So I'm just adding that in now. So the fins are going to be blue. So I am going to use turquoise blue. It's a nice light blue. So I'm going to just color the whole fins, and then I'll go back in with a darker one and add in the contrasting stripes. It's just such a small area for these little sections. And then I'm going to use azure blue to add in the darker stripes. Oh, these areas are so small. I really hate it. I love the way it looks when it's done, but getting there, I'm not a fan. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the ultramarine to do a little bit of contrast on the bottom. Of each one, just to give it a little bit of something, something. Okay, there we go. All right. So for this area here, I'm going to do another green. And then the little tears, I'm going to do pink. So I think I'm going to do lettuce green. It's nice and light. And then I'm going to use my rose pink for the little teardrop details. So now the main part of the scales are going to be pinks and purples. So I'm going to use 2 colors of pink and the lilac and the wisteria. So the actual inside of the scales are going to be the pink. So I'm going to alternate between the macaron and the rose pink. That was Finn shaking the camera just then. He's sitting on the table on the opposite side from me, just staring me down. If you have a cat, you know what I mean. Okay. Just going to go back over those sections to make sure they're nice and saturated. All right. Okay, now I'm going to color the rest of them with the rose pink, which is the darker one. Hi, buddy. All right, I'm sorry, dude. You can't do that now. I'm almost done. Now I'm going to alternate with the scales, with the wisteria and the lilac. So I'm using the wisteria on the scales that I colored the lighter pink with the macaron. And then I'll use the lilac on the ones that have the darker scales. I don't think it really matters, but I don't know, in my head, dark with light, light with dark kind of made sense. So if you've enjoyed this color along, I would love to see that in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for any other pages or books I could do a color along in. I would love to see those. And so now I'm going to do these little dots up here with green gel pen. Make it a little easier. Okay, and let's give our fish a little blue eye. Perfect. Okay, I just see some areas where I didn't fully color, so I'm just making sure I go over everything. All right. Now I'm going to take some of the smoky blue and go on the top and the bottom of the main area of the body, again, to give it a little contrast and for the 3D effect. Just being careful not to mix up the gel pen. I just had it on there, so I should have remembered to do that after, but I didn't. It's not a lot, just a little bit to give it a little contrast. All right, so we have 7 fish done, and now we are on to number 8, the last one. So this one is, again, a little rainbowy, so it has lots of different colors in it. So this one is going to have a blue face, and I really like the aqua, so I'm gonna use that for his face. And again, I'm just going to go around the edges and give that some darkness and depth. I'm just going to run over this with my blender pencil. So I'm thinking now, considering the longness of this video, I'm going to finish this fish, and then I will stop it, and then there will be a part 2 where I use the glitter pen over the fish to give them the sheen, do the background with the clouds, and then add any other finishing details, like, you know, some white in some of the areas for highlight, maybe some white gel pen. So I think that will be a part 2. I really don't like doing part 2s of my color alongs, but I think I really can't avoid it. So this one has just been longer than I thought. So I'm using Naples yellow for the fins. And I'm just going to color right over these circles. I will probably do them in gel pen. And then I'm going to use color called Jaune Brilliant, which I haven't used yet, and add the contrast to the fins along the edges. As you can see, I really haven't used too much yellow on these fish. I'm not a big yellow person, so to use yellow has been definitely a stretch for me. I don't really even like yellows on backgrounds. I have scrapped pages where I've used yellow on the background because I just didn't like it. So I'm going to put the aqua here on the end of, or on the tail. This aqua blue is a really pretty color. It's probably one of my favorite colors in this set. Just a really nice blue. And again, I'm doing darker around the edges. Okay. So the scales are going to be orange and like the orangey tones and pink. So I think I'm going to use the coral and the apricot and the pumpkin orange and shallow pink. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing that I did on the previous fish, and then I'm going to do alternating. So I'm going to do the insides with the orange, and then the outsides with the pinks, the edges with the pinks, and I'm going to do every other one in the other color. So I'm going to start with the insides. I'm actually going to do rows. So this first row, I'm using the apricot. And then the next row, I'll use the pumpkin orange and so on and so forth. So I'm going to skip the next row and do this row here in the apricot. I really like this color too. I'm not an apricot person, but I think this is a very nice apricot. Okay, and then the rest of them are going to be the pumpkin orange, which is the darker shade. I think I am going to do something with these, with the lines. I just haven't decided what it is yet. I think I may put some color around them, but I'm not sure. It'll probably be a pink, but I'm still deciding. Okay. All right, and now I will use the coral and the shell pink. So the coral is the lighter color, so I'm going to put that around the darker scales. And so I'm going to start with, wait, I'm sorry, the coral is a dark color, so I'm going to start with the coral. So I would love to know in the comments, do you like to color kind of tedious pages like this with lots of small details, or do you rather have pages that have larger areas to color where you don't have so many details? I go back and forth. Sometimes I like to color detail, and then others not so much. And I usually will stop and bebop onto another page. So if I were coloring this page just for me, I probably would have gone to something else, to a different kind of page before I finished it. And colored maybe some larger areas, some water or some sky or something. And then I would have come back to finish this one. I rarely start a page and finish it. I'm working on, oh my gosh, I would say about 40 pages. I have maybe even more are works in progress. So I start a page and I go on to something else and I start that. And then I go on to another one and then I start that. And then I might go back and finish some of a previous page. And then I go back and forth. So I'm constantly, it takes me a while to finish a page because I don't usually finish it from start to finish. So, all right, so I'm going to do this little section of this little fin aqua. Okay, I forgot to do that. Okay. So I really like that. So now I want to try to do something with that, with this line going across. So I'm going to take the magenta and I'm just going to color above and below it, kind of over it. I'm not really being precise. I'm just giving it a little bit of color on it, above it, below it, around it. Yeah, I like that. I think it's cool. And I'm going to take the rose pink and go along the edges again for some contrast. Just going to do the top and the bottom. I'm not going to do this area here because I don't want to cover up the yellow, the interior that I did there. So I'm just going to do the top and the bottom. So I think now these dots, I think I'm going to do blue. So I'm going to get my blue gel pen. Okay. I'm going to do this larger circle, yellow. I'm going to use my pink, a gel pen for the inside and the outside dots. Okay. And I'm going to use ultramarine and just go over this little section with these little lines, just very crudely. And I'm going to give her a nice little blue eye. All right, and that is the coloring of the fish. So let me bring this up so you can see. Oops, sorry. The completed page. Well, at least the completed fish. So I think these look really great. I'm really proud of them. And I really enjoyed coloring with the pastel pencils. And so I will be back with part 2 where we do the background and finishing up the fish. So thank you so much for watching. If you colored this page or colored another page, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please like this video with a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps more than you know, and you'll be able to get more content like this, such as coloring book flip throughs, supply hauls, and tutorials. So thanks for watching, and be sure to check part 2 to see the finished page. Happy coloring!